Things that came out about Frank Zappa after he died. You will forever be haunted by Frank Zappa's unforgettable performance in 1963 when he used a violin bow on a bicycle wheel on the national stage. It is abundantly clear that he stands as a unique legend and an iconic figure in the entertainment industry. His ability to seamlessly blend numerous musical genres and instruments is staggeringly intricate. Consequently, it comes as no surprise that Frank achieved monumental success in this field. However, what deserves utmost mention is the fact that Frank's professional secrets remained shrouded in mystery until his demise, a revelation that left fans in profound astonishment. Join us in watching this video until the end to uncover the obscure facets of Frank Zappa's life. Let us commence. You might not know that Gail Zappa's role in preserving and managing Frank Zappa's musical legacy has been a subject of both controversy and admiration. Critics argue that her approach made it difficult for fans to access and appreciate Frank's music, while supporters contend that she was fiercely protective of his memory and artistic integrity. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, Gail articulated her perspective on her responsibilities, stating, "My job is to make sure that Frank Zappa has the last word in terms of anybody's idea of who he is, and his actual last word is his music." Between Frank's passing in 1993 and Gail's own death in 2015, she exhibited an unwavering commitment to safeguarding Frank's musical catalog. This dedication often manifested through legal actions, ranging from pursuing lawsuits against cover bands and festivals that performed Frank's music without authorization, to legal battles with record labels in order to gain complete control over his work. However, the question arose, was this truly what Frank had wanted? In a surprising revelation, Gail disclosed that Frank had made a final request to her before his death: to sell all the masters he still possessed and retire from the music business entirely. This revelation suggests that Frank may have had a different vision for his posthumous legacy than what Gail pursued. However, Gail also pointed out a crucial loophole in Frank's request. He had not specified anything about the rights to his music. This ambiguity in his final wish led Gail to make a controversial decision. In defiance of Frank's final request to retire from the music industry, Gail opted to establish the Zappa Family Trust. Her reasoning behind this decision was to ensure that Frank's music would continue to be handled and presented in a manner that she believed would align with his artistic intentions. In essence, Gail took it upon herself to interpret what Frank might have wanted regarding the management and preservation of his music. Frank Zappa's musical legacy has been a subject of intense scrutiny and controversy due to the vigilant approach of Gail Zappa, his widow, in protecting and managing his artistic property. Gail's determination to safeguard the Zappa family's rights led to legal actions against various entities, even including Zappa, a well-established German music festival that had been celebrating Zappa's music prior to his passing in 1993. Gail's stance on the matter was unequivocal, as she explained to NPR. "I don't really care who's doing it, as long as they get a license. The people I'm going after are not licensing the music." One of the primary targets of Gail Zappa's legal actions were cover bands, particularly those she accused of not faithfully reproducing Frank's music as he had composed it. In her view, such performances represented a departure from Frank's original work, which she deemed as some wretched version of it. This perspective, driven by her dedication to preserving the integrity of Frank's compositions, led her to take legal action against those who strayed from his original arrangements. However, there is an intriguing twist to this story. Ike Willis, a musician who frequently performed with the cover band Project Object, claimed to have had a personal conversation with Frank Zappa shortly before his death. According to Willis, Frank expressed a different sentiment about his music's future. Frank allegedly told him, "I would really like it if you could be one of the people that could actually keep my music played in some way, shape, or form." This statement, as reported by Willis, suggested that Frank wanted his music to continue being performed and appreciated, rather than being tightly controlled. The conflicting accounts of Gail Zappa's legal actions and Frank's alleged last wishes have left a complex legacy surrounding the preservation and dissemination of Frank Zappa's music. On one hand, Gail's actions were driven by her desire to ensure that Frank's compositions were not altered or misused, thereby maintaining their artistic integrity. On the other hand, Willis's claim raises questions about whether Frank had a more lenient and inclusive vision for how his music should be perpetuated, suggesting that he wanted it to thrive in various interpretations. Frank Zappa's reputation as a meticulous archivist of his own work and life is well known among his devoted fan base. However, the true extent of his archival efforts only became fully apparent after his death, when archivists began delving into the vast treasure trove of materials he had saved, which included items dating back to his childhood home movies. In 2020, You Discover Music had the opportunity to speak with Joe Travers, the archivist entrusted with the monumental task of cataloging and preserving Frank Zappa's extensive collection. Travers shed light on the formidable challenges they faced initially. He mentioned that in the early stages of their work, they lacked the necessary machines to play back the various formats found in the archive. This made it a considerable mystery, as they couldn't even access the content to begin categorizing it. It took many years for Gail Zappa to refurbish the studio and procure the required playback equipment for Travers to effectively carry out his responsibilities. Among the most astonishing discoveries in the vault were recordings of a 20-piece and a 10-piece electric orchestra that had toured with Zappa for only a brief period before being disbanded. The existence of these recordings was a revelation, as nobody had been aware that Frank had kept such valuable musical artifacts from this particular era of his career. Another intriguing revelation came from filmmaker Alex Winter, who was working on his documentary, Zappa. While immersing himself in the vault's contents for the preservation of materials, Winter stumbled upon something unexpected. He initially believed he had found duplicates, but upon closer examination, he realized that Frank had employed a unique creative process. Frank would take a piece of Super 8 film, duplicate it, and then engage in a process of recutting, drawing on it, and synchronizing it with music before transferring it onto video. In essence, the vault itself was an immense artistic archival project, showcasing Frank's ongoing experimentation and creativity with various forms of media. Frank Zappa's appearance on Saturday Night Live during the 1970s, a show known for its wild creativity and no-holds-barred attitude, may have seemed like a natural fit, but it turned out to be a memorable and ultimately controversial event. In fact, his appearance was so disastrous that he became famously banned from the show. One of the most iconic sketches from that ill-fated episode featured Zappa interacting with his groupies, who were astonished when he declined an offer of illicit substances. While the sketch was intended for comedic effect, it was later revealed, through Alex Winter's 2021 documentary Zappa and confirmation from Zappa's son, Amit, that the unlikely story was indeed true. According to Amit Zappa and insights shared by Alex Winter, Frank Zappa's refusal to partake in drug use was not merely a comedic choice, but a genuine reflection of his personal stance. Frank was adamant about not using drugs himself, and he also discouraged those he worked with from doing so. Suggesting otherwise was likely to be met with disapproval, as Frank viewed it as a potential insult. Alex Winter offered a compelling perspective on why Frank took this stance. He suggested, in an interview with You Discover Music, that one reason might have been Frank's recognition of the technical complexity of his music. Frank's compositions were notoriously intricate and demanding, requiring a high level of skill and precision from the musicians who performed them. Therefore, it is conceivable that Frank wanted everyone involved in his music to be clear-headed and focused to ensure that the music was played correctly. This attitude towards drug use also extended to Frank Zappa's broader stance on the counterculture movement and the hippie ethos of the 1960s and 1970s. Zappa recounted that many people would try to reminisce about their experiences with Frank in the Laurel Canyon scene, claiming they had jammed with him and enjoyed moments of camaraderie amidst clouds of pot smoke. However, dispelled these myths, stating, "It never happened, didn't happen." Further highlighted that people often questioned how someone as creatively innovative as Frank Zappa could achieve such heights of imagination without the aid of drugs. This assumption, he noted, was a sad and mistaken belief. Frank's unwavering commitment to sobriety and his insistence on the same for those he collaborated with exemplified his dedication to his art and his belief in the power of a clear mind in producing his unique brand of music. Frank Zappa is indeed renowned for his reputation as a demanding and exacting musician and composer. He had a clear vision of the music he wanted to create and was meticulous in his instructions to the musicians who collaborated with him. However, as revealed by Alex Winter in his exploration of the extensive materials Frank left behind, there was a surprising and lesser-known side to Zappa's creative process. Winter's findings highlighted the fact that Frank Zappa, despite his reputation for being particular about his music, was more collaborative and accessible than many might have assumed. While Zappa did treat musicians like instruments, directing them with precision and specificity to achieve his artistic vision, he also displayed a willingness to engage in true collaboration. He was open to the input and contributions of the artists he worked with, allowing them to infuse his compositions with their own creativity and interpretations. In Winter's words, he was actually very collaborative. This aspect of Zappa's creative process might not have been immediately evident, as he also had a deep desire to hear his compositions performed correctly and to his standards. Nonetheless, the musicians he collaborated with often brought their unique experiences and perspectives to the music, enriching it in ways that may not have been readily recognized by the public. One of the most significant revelations from Winter's exploration of Zappa's archival materials was the transformation of Frank's public persona when he was off stage. Contrary to the image of a guarded, stern, and severe Zappa that the public often perceived, Winter discovered that Frank's attitude behind the scenes was remarkably different. Off stage, Frank Zappa was described as incredibly chill and warm. While his interactions may have been direct and strict, there was a warmth and approachability to his personality that came across in the archival materials. This contrast between the public and private personas of Zappa adds depth to our understanding of the multifaceted artist. Zappa's insights into what his father, Frank Zappa, might have thought about the Internet era provide a rich and multifaceted perspective on how the legendary musician's principles and passions could have shaped his views in the digital age. Firstly, acknowledged that Frank Zappa would likely have welcomed the advent of the Internet with open arms. Frank's lifelong dedication to championing artists' rights and freedom of expression would have found resonance in the Internet's democratizing potential. He would have appreciated how the digital landscape provided a platform for countless individuals who, in the pre-Internet era, may not have had the opportunity to share their thoughts and creativity with the world. In fact, speculated that Frank might have even ventured into the world of tech entrepreneurship, suggesting that he could have been among the founders of major online platforms such as Google or YouTube. This visionary perspective aligns with Frank's commitment to celebrating diverse viewpoints and promoting a robust exchange of ideas. However, Amit's response also underscored that Frank Zappa's outlook on the Internet era wouldn't have been without reservations. The musician's strong stance against censorship and his unwavering advocacy for artists' rights would have led him to take a principled stand against mega-corporations that might have exploited or devalued music in the digital realm. Amit's statement that his father would have fought mega corporations for taking the value out of music reflects Frank's deep concern for the livelihoods and creative integrity of musicians. In this scenario, Frank Zappa would have emerged as a vocal leader in a battle to ensure that artists were fairly compensated and that music retained its intrinsic value in the digital age. Amit's anticipation that Frank would have pushed for improved streaming services and enhanced means of communication for artists underscores Frank's enduring commitment to the welfare of fellow musicians. He would likely have used his influential voice to advocate for fairer compensation models, more transparent industry practices, and innovative solutions that allowed artists to thrive financially while connecting with their audiences in new and meaningful ways. Frank Zappa's enigmatic persona was marked by a distinct disdain for music that didn't align with his unique artistic vision. He exhibited a discerning taste and was unafraid to express his candid opinions about the music landscape of his time. In interviews with the San Diego Union-Tribune, Frank Zappa didn't hold back in criticizing various aspects of music consumption and popular culture. He found fault not only in the way people listened to music, but even in the music played at mundane places like the dentist's office. His candid comment about a dentist playing The Wave on the radio exemplified his uncompromising attitude towards music that didn't resonate with him. Frank's unapologetic aversion to music he considered subpar or nauseating underlined his commitment to artistic integrity and his refusal to conform to mainstream expectations. Despite his critical stance on much of the music industry and popular culture, Frank Zappa's relationship with commercial success and his approach to his own artistry were complex. Alex Winter, in his exploration of Zappa's work, delved into the question of whether Frank feared success or saw it as an indicator of compromised artistic quality due to catering to a wide audience. Winter's insights provide a deeper understanding of Frank's intricate mindset. According to Winter, Frank Zappa was not inherently afraid of success, nor did he shy away from the prospect of commercial success. Instead, there was an underlying suspicion within Frank about his own desire to create music for commerce as opposed to producing what he deemed as good art. Frank's apprehension lay in the fear of compromising the quality of his work for the sake of commercial gain or external agendas. In essence, it was not primarily about how the music resonated with everyone else, but about the integrity and authenticity of his own artistic expression. Frank Zappa's dedication to keeping himself honest and ensuring that his creative output remained true to his artistic vision was a driving force in his career. He was unwavering in his commitment to producing music that was meaningful and authentic to him, regardless of commercial considerations or mainstream trends. This uncompromising attitude cemented his status as an iconoclastic artist who prioritized artistic integrity above all else, and it contributed to the enduring allure of his enigmatic persona. The staging of Frank Zappa's Joe's Garage by the Open Fist Theater Company in 2008 marked a significant artistic achievement and a labor of love, bringing a complex and multifaceted musical work to life on the stage. This endeavor was rooted in Frank Zappa's original vision for the album, released in 1979, which delved into a wide range of thought-provoking themes, including religion and the life of a musician. The album was structured into acts and was proudly billed as a rock opera, creating a narrative framework that was both musically intricate and thematically rich. The decision to adapt Joe's Garage into a theatrical production was not without its challenges and surprises. Frank's original intention to turn the album into a stage production had remained a largely unfulfilled dream for decades. The reasons behind this had to do with the sheer scale and expense associated with bringing such a complex and ambitious work to the theater. The fortuitous connection between the Open Fist Theater Company and the Zappa family, facilitated by Pat Town, a key figure at Open Fist, played a pivotal role in realizing Frank Zappa's vision. Town, who had the opportunity to direct Moon Unit Zappa, Frank's daughter, in a play, initiated contact with Gail Zappa, Frank's widow, and guardian of his artistic legacy. Through these discussions, it became clear that Frank had always harbored the intention of transforming Joe's Garage into a stage production. However, the enormity of the task had been a significant barrier to realizing this ambition. The complexity of the material, along with the associated costs, had made the endeavor seem nearly insurmountable. The decision to finally stage Joe's Garage represented a significant commitment to honoring Frank Zappa's artistic vision. The production team, including the show's producer Michael Franco and director Pat Town, recognized the importance of staying as true to Zappa's vision as possible. This meant meticulously transcribing the music from the album, given the absence of a traditional score. As Town emphasized, it has to be absolutely right because it's about the music. This dedication to musical fidelity underscored the immense effort and attention to detail that went into ensuring a faithful adaptation. What made the production even more compelling was its eerie relevance to contemporary societal and political themes. The exploration of government eavesdropping and the control of citizen behavior, central to the narrative of Joe's Garage, resonated strongly with the state of the world in 2008. Producer Michael Franco noted that Frank Zappa's fears of America turning into a fascistic theocracy seemed alarmingly close to reality. What do you think about these little-known facts about Frank Zappa? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.